This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so recorder is up and running. As always, everything we're going to be talking about is not intended as any type of investment advice, only for educational purposes. All right, so let's talk about Facebook. First off, I know I had posted a article last night. I saw it come up, and it was very interesting. Based off of the prints that we've been seeing yesterday, Facebook came up on, absolutely nothing. It was just a really slow day. Especially, it just didn't look like a lot of market makers were even out there, because as we were coming back up to this monster move that it had, there really weren't that many great prints at any of the levels. So we can see coming in this morning, we took a big hit, and it's probably based off of the news that the founders of Instagram are no longer, I guess they're leaving Facebook. I didn't even read the article because I don't care. I just know based off of the headline that that I saw, it was not going to be a good thing. It's never a good thing when founders end up leaving. But coming into this morning, Facebook took a pretty big hit. I mean, if we look at it, we came all the way back down to our lows right here of that 160 level. And that's what we need to break. Once we break that 160, that's when we're really going to see this thing start to move. So we've been kind of trickling back up, but not on any great volume. I mean, there's been a few minutes where we've got a little bit coming in, but the best show of hand that I've seen probably for the morning so far is these prints that we saw at 160, 150. Right here, we got a beautiful red dress, beautiful show of hand, especially based off the fact that the orders are extremely little. That is a big position being taken for how much is actually available out there. So certainly going to be looking for that jump up, which it pretty much already did. I'm perfectly fine with the jump up that we had back in it, and then that trigger that just came back down. But 160, 150 is, we saw a big position coming in, and we've got some pretty decent selling on its way down. 160, 150, you can see over here. It's been a little bit of a mix, but we also have those prints down here at 161 on the bid side of things. So keep that in mind. We do have a bunch more room. I know it's been kind of going up and down, but also you got to remember Facebook trades on average about almost $4. So for it to go up from 161 to 165 in a day, that's not really that big of a deal. The volume was a little bit under average yesterday. So it moved almost $5, which is, it doesn't really quite fit the puzzle, but you know what? It falls within the range of things that we would expect. So definitely keep a close eye on Facebook this morning. Next one looking at is AMRN. I told you guys to put a big star next to this yesterday because we saw this thing just continue to run up on essentially nothing. And we ended up coming back down to 1150, but where the prints really started, we're down here at 1050. So I am going to be watching this thing for the short side of the move, just because of the fact it hasn't pulled back. Now, that doesn't mean there's not great buying in it, because we did get great buying at 1050, at 11, and at 1150. So the fact of it going up is, is certainly what I see overall. It's just a matter of having to pull back from all those prints that we had. A little bit mixed out there, but you could see nice big burst that came in at 12. We did have an ask print, but you know what? That doesn't really mean much. It's one ask print for 1,000 shares, and right here we definitely got some selling at that 12 level. So popping back up is certainly exactly what we would expect this thing to do. I am going to be looking for this to take a pretty big hit coming into the morning, and when I say hit, I mean pullback. I don't mean overall. I don't expect the stock to just sell off, but I do expect a pretty big move towards that downside. Moving along, next one we have is AMD. So AMD is, I hope, finally in beast mode and just ready to go, because we know 35 is our conservative price target, but it's got, based off of everything that we've been seeing, based off the position being built during this consolidation right here, I am expecting it to go a lot higher than that 35. But we're going to start with 35, and we're going to go from what we see there. This morning, we did have some decent prints come in at that 33 level. Hasn't really pulled back from it yet. So for it to come back down and pull back down to that 1.8 million share print line here at 32.61 would not be shocking whatsoever. And that would not mean that stock is moving back down. It would just mean it's pulling back from those buy prints that we had from this morning. So we can already see we're kind of getting a little bit of a trigger there. Not the greatest of volume, but we know what the story in this thing is, and we're just going to pretty much ride it out from today. Once the market opens, we're definitely going to see get a better idea of what this thing's going to be looking to do, even though we know overall that we're going to be looking for our price target of that 35. Next one looking at is DLR. So The thing about DLR right now is I don't see anything that I really care too much about yet. So we do have some prints here on 112.50, on the ass side of things, but it took a real big hit. From what I can see, that's definitely looks like covering. Right now, I don't mind the buying aspect of things. All I care about is new selling. But one thing that we did see this morning, and it doesn't really show us much, unfortunately, look at the gigantic position in between the bid and ask right here at 113. So it's not showing us any type of direction, but I mean, look at these prints. It's a monster position that happened, and it happened very, very, very early. Let's go over to the side. I didn't even look at this. Let's see. Yeah, and it's all on the exchanges too. So keep an eye on this. 113 is a very important level. We just need to get a real show of hand that shows us, is it going to run away from 113 or is it going to keep, well, either way, we're going to see it run away from 113, but is it going to run down or up? And that's really, at the end of the day, what we need that show of hand for. And we just really haven't got it yet. Remember, I don't care about covering on a stock that took a hit like this. I mean, it closed at 115.92. We came all the way down to our lows right here of about 112, which, so it's a substantial hit. It's not crazy. All right, but based off of those 113 prints, it doesn't show us direction yet, but we know that somebody thinks a big, big move from that level. So bullish above, bearish below in this situation. And then I have one side list stock, which is JONE. And the only reason it's on my side list is because it's been holding, but the volume is garbage. That's why it's on the side list. It's just, if you look at the actual range itself, 750 all the way up to our 10 level, which it didn't really show us anything at that 10. You can see the bigger prints out there are absolute garbage. Doesn't, no real show of hand yet. Overall, based off this volume, what it tells us, we're going to end up falling right back down. I just want to see, I want to keep an eye on it. It's on the bottom of our list, and that's why it's on a side list. There's better things to be paying attention to trade, but at the same time, I am going to keep my eye out just to see if we get anything that comes back into there. Let's talk about TLRY. This thing just doesn't stop. It's unbelievable how the swings that this thing has. So yesterday we came back underneath 100. Guys, what was our price target? And you remember from yesterday? Yep, 125. So we came down to 100. I hope some people took some calls down there because we knew we had such great prints at that 120 level. We had to get up about $5, and this thing went up almost exactly to 125 overnight. Once again, these swings on this thing are just absolutely incredible. So if you had shares, you had a really good morning because this thing just it's crazy. Down to 100, up to 125. Hopefully we just continue with this range. Go out there. I know I was able to get shares. If you have TradeStation, I was able to get shares this morning, so I would definitely look into that. Haven't seen anything that I really care too much about yet. We do have some good prints at 115, but it's just a little bit too mixed. Remember, on a stock like this, we need to see what we saw at 120 yesterday. I need to see something that's so definitive that it's almost impossible that I'm going to be wrong. And that's what we saw at 120 yesterday. We got that huge pullback, $20 down to 100, and then right back to our price target of that 125. So it just, overall beautiful trade, and it follows the rules very well. It's just a very extended stock. It's just crazy how it moves. And then coming back over to Cron. I know most people are looking for that. I still don't feel it pulled back the way that it should have. You know what? It's just price target based off of the amount of selling we had. And we had good selling yesterday at 12.2 when we were coming back down. So it jumping up doesn't really shock me too much, but I'm still expecting off all that selling for this thing to hit 11 before we end up coming up. Because remember, the two points that I have written down, 12.50 and 15, we do have huge buying there. So it's certainly something that eventually we're going to be expecting to go out there and break past. So, overall right now, I'm still expecting a little bit more of a move to the downside before we're going to be seeing this thing really kind of be able to take off. It's been, it's weird because it has days where it moves really, really well. And then the days where it kind of gives us the show of hand, most of the time it sits in consolidation and we don't end up getting that move until the next day. So another thing just to kind of keep in mind. But overall, Facebook showing us that those prints at 161.50. That's probably my favorite show of hand this morning. And we also at 161, we have prints down here. okay, right at that print line of 219,000 shares. So I like what I see. There's a bunch of stuff going on out there. There's certainly stuff for us to look at. Show of hands haven't been that great. We have to rely on our stories a little bit more, but as we get closer to the open, we're going to see a lot more of those pop up. Now, anything else out there that I missed? Well, CGC, so it's basically the same thing. CGC is that, it's going to follow CRON, it's going to follow TLRY. Looking at this morning at 9 o'clock, we did have, a couple prints sitting there at that 54 level, but nothing really, I'm not putting TLRY, CRON, and CGC on our list this morning because we know, the pot stocks are going to be moving. So we, pay attention to them. Okay. We go over them every single day. They've pretty much been moving every single day. So it's something that you certainly want to make sure that you're watching. But CGC is probably one of my least favorite out of the both. And the only reason behind it is just because it trades very consolidated. And I'm just not a big fan of that. If we look over here and you could just look at our minute charts, especially as a day trader, you could see just how it goes. It does have a smooth move every once in a while, but you can see the rest of it is just very up and down. So even when you know exactly where it has to go, it leaves you wide open for, the opportunity to get shaken out just because of the way it trades. And I'm not a big fan of that. CEI, let's take a look. All right, CEI is not a stock that I'm ever going to trade. Okay, it is a quant type trading stock. There's just better things out there that I'm going to be looking at. So me personally, it's got phenomenal volume, don't get me wrong, and it did just jump up 20 cents, but not something that I'm going to be paying attention to. When you have a quantity stock like this and you have orders that are that big, it's just way too hard to read. You don't really get, a definitive show of hand, and then they die out very, very quickly. A lot of times we'll see this, this move up, and then that's it. Well, you'll get good buying prints up at the top, and then it just ends up dying. So there's just nothing there for me. Is it because it's not a penny stock? Okay, there's a difference between a penny stock and a stock that's pennies. Okay, a penny stock is a pink sheet stock, with basically what happens is you can't see the orders out there. Okay, you can't see any type of buying and selling orders that are posted. Okay, you can see time and sales, but it kind of just runs. Okay, a stock like this is just pennies. Okay, but it's still it's still listed nationally. What is it on the NASDAQ? I think I actually took that off, so I don't even know where it's listed. It's going to be on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, so it's definitely nationally listed. And NBEV, I was looking at it before. I'm just not interested. It kind of died out a little bit yesterday. Did we get a little bit of buying that came in? Yeah, we did, but there's better things for me to be paying attention to, and I'll be looking at this only if and only if we start getting some type of change and I see it start to run, and then it starts following the prints again, because it really has done its own thing over the past few days. And I told you, these cheaper stocks, we get these, these 5 minutes, 15 minutes of fame, they jump up and then they kind of just die out. So until this shows us that it's not dead anymore, I'm not going to be paying attention to it. CRON, I have already went over. All right, guys, let's get ready for the morning. Like I said, Traders Exchange at 12:30. We will be posting more about the workshop that we're going to be doing in 2 weeks, and I will see everyone in the chat room. Happy trading.